Recording. Ugh. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Noob from Drunk FX. Man, I got some crazy, like, sinus infection or something here, so I just decided to take it easy here and check out one of my favorite YouTubers. I've actually been following him since he dropped like his maybe second or third episode. It's known as the Angry Video Game Nerd, or James, however you guys want to address him. He finally got around to doing a review of a TV show called Power Rangers. My guess is he was pushed to make this happen, or more of a goal now, because of the movies coming out, which is a pretty good idea. You know, you want to definitely get this done and bring justice to it. Now, I kind of want to see what he goes about, and I want to see if he still puts his his angry kind of humor into it. Now, a lot of you probably know more of Angry Joe. To me, this was the original Angry Anybody on here. The difference between this guy and Joe is James did games from the past, and that, I don't want to say it bit him, it gave him his niche, but Joe basically just copied him and did present games. He probably goes back now, I don't know, but I remember when Joe came out, and when he was, just a little channel, which I'm happy for him. He's big now, congrats, whatever. But that's kind of, obviously it's easier to get subs with the newer games versus the older games. So, but either way, or maybe James just straight up inspired Joe. Like I said, I'm not throwing any hate around. I do want to check out this review here. Hey Alfie, welcome in the channel, man. Today, tomorrow, the day after I get out of school, 11:05. I'm in Central Time. I don't know what time it is for you right now. For me, it's almost 2 o'clock. But yeah, let's check this out. I really want to see what this is all about. Alright, cool.
Here's some confessions from a nerd.
Yes!
I have never seen Power Rangers.
What?
Yeah, meaning I've seen only clips and have never watched a full episode.
What?
But that's about to change. I'm going to check it out and give you my first impressions. Now, keep in mind, I'm seeing this for the first time as an adult. I can never go back in time and see it as a kid the way it was intended. I can never be as nostalgic and as well seasoned with it as many fans may be, but I still have a personal history and experience with it. A very misguided experience, which I'd like to share. So if you're already a big fan of the show, you might not learn any new information from me, but you'll probably get a unique perspective.
Right, Alfie?
And if you're a noob like me, then you can come share the discovery. I've been aware of the show's existence since the very beginning. Its impact was phenomenal. It was as popular as Transformers or Ninja Turtles, all action franchises that I loved as a kid. But somehow with Power Rangers, I missed the boat. I may have been a little bit too old or was too busy getting into horror movies and monster movies. When you obsess over something, it usually means you miss out in something else.
That's true.
Also, I've always had a tendency to ignore whatever is the newest popular thing. I got annoyed with it. I specifically remember it being the most popular Halloween costume. There is actual footage from Halloween '94. My friend's younger brother came to my party with this costume, and all I could think is, oh, it's that stupid Power Rangers show. Even with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, when I first heard the title, I thought it sounded like the dumbest thing ever. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah.
Like Park Rangers? Morphin? What does that mean?
Not a problem, Juice.
Looking back, it sounds like morphine. I wrote it off as just a kid's show and moved past it. I was more adult, more cool. Let me watch my Godzilla movies.
When he does the tails.
The first touch of regret happened a few years after the show made its mark. A group of friends and I were sitting around watching TV. We flipped through some channels and happened to land on Power Rangers, but only for a moment. What I saw was a giant robot fighting a rubber suit monster in a city. My friends were making fun of it, saying, oh, it's that stupid Power Rangers show, so cheesy. And I was sitting there thinking, wait a minute. This looks awesome.
Right.
It's just like a
Godzilla. Exactly, bro.
What I expected. In the 90s, I was the only Godzilla fan I knew. Nobody else liked this shit, and that only fired me up and made me like it more.
Exactly.
Rubber suit monsters. That's what life is all about. Think it looks cheesy? Well, fuck you. Then wait, you're telling me one of the most popular shows on TV is all about rubber suit monsters?
Yes.
This was a major contradiction. You know what I was doing when Power Rangers was on? I was ordering Laserdisc to VHS transfers from Japan of the newest Godzilla films and any
Actually,
other
my
obscure
brother has some of those, actually.
But all I had to do was turn on the TV and I'd see a new monster every week. Then I heard something crazy. A new piece of information that would completely change my view of Power Rangers.
Awesome juice.
The show was made in Japan.
Yeah. You didn't
even. Next time I caught a glimpse
How could
of the
you not
show,
tell?
I saw something that resembled a TV sitcom with teenagers. This couldn't be the same show. It looked like a Saved by the Bell knockoff. It was silly and dumb, but not in any of the ways I wanted it to be. It definitely was not Japanese. It looked like the most American show you could possibly see. So then I was confused. And
I suppose he is a noob, so I gotta let him go.
Sometime after the internet age began, I became increasingly aware
you can tell the
that
Japanese
Power
scenes
Rangers
was all
something
this.
That would have been right up my alley. But the idea of watching it cold and trying to catch up after all these years seemed too daunting. As the demands of adulthood grew, I wondered, did I miss my opportunity? Would it still appeal to me today? I have to find out. All right, it's been on the list for years, and now I'm finally looking into it. First of all, is the show Japanese or is it American? Apparently, it's both. Generally, the monster scenes were shot in Japan, while the scenes with the teenagers were in the United States. That makes enough sense. But wait, the Japanese footage was recycled from a completely separate show called Super Sentai.
Damn.
The plot thickens. So there's two different shows, both coexisting and both still going on to this very day. Does that mean I have to watch Super Sentai also?
As long as it ain't Super Hentai, brother.
Absolutely.
It looks like Godzilla intro.
Man. Now there's two shows I want to watch. I feel like my responsibility just doubled.
Be nice to have more
I
subs.
gave birth to twins. Oh, wait. Super Sentai began in 1975, and it's still going on to this very day?
That's right.
They've been making episodes consistently for the past 42 years. I'm gonna die. The basic concept of Super Sentai is a team of ordinary humans are transformed into superheroes. They wear color-coded costumes and save the Earth from evil monsters. This description naturally sounds like Power Rangers, but it also sounds like Kamen Rider, which is from the same creator. Basically,
Kamen Rider?
A bunch of people in motorcycles,
Kamen Rider, I remember him.
With explosions,
Cricket.
lasers, and sparks shooting all over. You know the deal. The deal is, it's fucking awesome. Ever seen Spectre-Man? Dude, that shit is crazy. How about the Toei Spider-Man? Yeah, it's Spider-Man with giant robots. Then there's Ultraman.
Ultraman,
yep. Started. That was 1966, and the Ultra series is still going on today also. It was created by A.G. Tsuburaya, the special effects pioneer who we have to thank for making Godzilla. Godzilla once fought alongside an Ultraman-type character called Jet Jaguar, and Godzilla appeared in many Zone Fighter episodes, along with other characters from the Godzilla franchise, including Gigan and King Ghidorah. The same Japanese superhero genre which spawned Power Rangers is intertwined with the Godzilla franchise. And if you haven't opened up a big enough can of worms already,
cool, man.
These franchises fall under the umbrella term tokusatsu. This is a mother genre, which generally includes any films that rely heavily on special effects, such as giant monster movies, of course, which I've always known as Daikaiju films. Then you have human-sized monster films like The Manster, superhero series like Super Sentai, space films like Green Slime, mecha series which are about giant robots controlled by people like Gunhead, the Giant Robo series, and even this crosses over into the Godzilla franchise with characters such as Mecha Godzilla and Mecha Ghidorah. And then you take it a step further with Combiner Robots, which plays a big part in Power Rangers. It's robots that come together to form bigger robots like Voltron and
baby.
Transformers.
If you guys haven't seen that new series, Voltron, definitely check it out.
Anime! Holy fuck!
Yep. Mind blown.
This is bad for me. You know that, right?
Gundam.
When it comes to this stuff, I can't stop. I'm like an alcoholic. I was doing good, but now I'm over my head. I gotta settle down. All right, we're talking Power.
Alcoholic.
Right,
man, you ain't got no problems. Let me tell you.
The first season.
You are not an alcoholic.
Just one season. See if it's on Netflix. Oh, good, it is.
Yay!
Check it out.
60 episodes. Bunker down, player.
It's 60 episodes. 60 fucking episodes? You think that's enough for one season? Oh, God.
Gotta watch it all, player.
Please, I need some help. I've been wanting to get schooled in Power Rangers, but too overwhelmed. Decide to watch just the first season. Lo and behold, it's 60 episodes. Oh, man.
That's what you get.
Dude, I got you covered. Huh. Well, thanks, Linkara. Hey, didn't I debate that guy one time on who would win in a fight, Mechagodzilla or Megazord, even though I had no idea who Megazord was?
Yeah.
Well, anyway, he's reviewed everything Power Rangers, so let this be my guide to the show.
Jesus.
Do I need a guide for the guide?
Mm.
And Netflix has 2 different versions of the first season. There's the original and the remastered series. Do I have to watch that too?
Plot-wise, nothing is different about them, and frankly, I see no reason to watch 60 episodes of the same show twice just for sparkles.
Oh, thank God.
Wow.
Anyway,
so a little bit more
I'm
effects in it.
Watching Power Rangers, something that was meant to be watched once a week over the course of 20 years. I'm going to consume it all at once. Wish me luck.
Jesus, you won't get past like the 5th or 10th episode.
Oh, go Power Rangers! Go Power Rangers! Go
He's gonna have dreams about that, man. Oh, looks like part 1's done here. We're gonna launch part 2 here real quick. But yeah, Alfie, I'm totally gonna see that movie when it comes out, man. I should almost grab my my action figures I have still of them. I actually have the original Green Zord, or Dragon Zord with the Green Ranger in the box unopened, actually. I guess I could go grab it. I mean, it's not really a big deal, but it's actually worth, you know, some money, which is pretty awesome, you know. Here it is. Ugh. There it is. So you guys can see it's right there. Still in the packaging and everything. Obviously, you can tell the box is a little bit old, but I did a pretty good job. I started to, you know, put it in plastic to protect it, but as a kid, I just had it kind of sit on my shelf just to display it. But yeah, you know, not to open stuff as a kid, that takes a lot. I have a ton of action figures I've never opened as kids. It's just, I was that kid, you know, that would never play with the toys. I would buy them all and then keep them in the packaging. Unfortunately, a lot of my stash got stolen from somebody that I thought I trusted as a kid, you know. So, but I still have, you know, a decent amount of stuff left. Okay, sorry about that. Normally I don't, you know, hold up the stream and everything, but oh, that's cool, Juice. Yeah, as far as a collab, man, I'm down. We'll have to talk later though on how to do it. It's not going to be like this though. I don't think it would live stream too well. I think the internet would choke. We could always try it, but all right, part 2, everybody. I think I gotta sneeze again.
Oh, go Power Rangers! Go
Bless me.
Go Power Rangers! Oh man, I think I've caused myself serious mental damage.
Yeah.
This was way too much to ingest all at once.
Yes, it was.
I'm now familiar with the show. I've skimmed through the first 3 seasons, plus I've seen the first 2 movies. With the first season, I watched the first 30 episodes straight, and after that I realized it would be impossible to finish, plus I wanted to see seasons 2 and 3 to close out the Mighty Morphin era, so I watched the majority of the rest of them in fast speed, stopping only to watch the most important episodes based on what Linkara and the internet in general seem to recommend the most. When I say I'm now familiar with the show, I mean I can now finally distinguish all the names like Goldar, Zord, Zordon, and Zordled. I mean Lord Zed. Why do they have to sound so similar? The basic gist, if you're new to this too, it's about 5 normal teenagers who are active in gymnastics, martial arts, and working out. They're recruited to fight against evil by the good guy Zordon, a blue floating head who operates in a base situated on top Vazquez rocks. Look at that.
It's not obvious.
That. They just slapped it on there. Oh, that's great. He has an assistant named Alpha 5 who I can't stand. All he says is ay 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 ay, and it gets really annoying really fast. I like the design. The lights on his body are shimmering and always in motion like an elaborate Christmas display. I mean, it's a pretty spectacular looking robot, but I've just had enough with that voice. The main villain who prompts Zordon into enlisting the teenagers is an alien witch with a cone bra who's been floating around space in a garbage can for many years. To be exact, 10,000 years, as you'll be reminded at the start of every episode. Her name is Rita. Rita. It's like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. The wizard named Tim. There are some who call me Tim. Of course, her full name is Rita Repulsa, and that's pretty fitting. Anyway, Zordon gives the teenagers power coins, which they redeem at the video arcade to get lots of free games. No, that would be silly. It turns them into color-coded superheroes wearing spandex suits and motorcycle helmets, and gives them the powers of ancient animals
but the original one, Power Rangers, the yellow was actually a
dinosaurs, but they're all robots.
There was only one female in Japan,
started,
the Pink
and
Ranger.
we're already talking about robot dinosaurs.
At least the originals.
What else could possibly happen in 23 seasons? I have no fucking idea. So these ancient robot animals are called Zords, and they don't do much other than come running out of volcanoes and shit looking awesome. The reason they don't do much is because they don't have time. Right away, they all combine together to form Megazord, and that's when shit gets really crazy. I actually had to stop watching and take a break. It's too much. Like, when does watching this sort of thing start to feel normal? I find it really amusing how the Power Rangers can't say anything without punching and doing all this shit in the air. It's like, can't they stand still for 1 second? Also, I can't get over how many times they say the word power. This is your power lance, a weapon of great power. This is the power sword, key to all the weapons' powers. You could make a drinking game out of it. I wonder if they had a subscription to Nintendo Power. The terminology in the show gets nuts.
That's pretty good.
In the episode Oyster Stew, they actually use the term oysterizer. Dude.
That's not.
Oysterizer. There's also Bulk and Skull. These are the comedy characters. They're completely exaggerated, especially with Skull's high-pitched Riddler laugh. They're always getting hit by pies and cakes. Everything they say or do is usually followed up with
the main good guys in the future, though, from what I saw.
They're often trying to figure out the true identity of the Power Rangers, but other than that, they're just comic relief. I had no idea they would be main characters of the show. This surprised me. They even become police officers later on, and they almost got their own show. I don't really know what to think of them. They're kind of lovable in a silly way, but I don't feel like they belong. You're watching a show about superheroes fighting monsters, and then all of a sudden a slapstick tornado comes flying in to wreck every other scene. As expected,
hey, I don't know. I thought they were pretty funny.
For me is
like in a stupid way, you know.
I've compared the effects to Godzilla, but it would be more accurate to compare them to Gamera. If you've seen a lot of the Gamera films, you'll notice the effects are much cheaper and the monster designs are a lot more ridiculous. You have a monster with a saw on its head, but let's get even more ridiculous. In Power Rangers, you have a turtle with a traffic light on its head. Or an upside-down pumpkin head. There's a new monster just about every week, and they're all absurd, and they talk. If I saw this as a kid, I would have lost my...
Oh,
you can
got
skip
commercial.
This ad in 5 hops. Well, you can't really skip this ad. But you can figure out that with Metro PCS, you can jump on the 4G LTE T-Mobile network for only $30
Let my cat in.
Metro PCS.
Meow, 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 meow. Come on,
and
chicken
they
butt.
talk. If I saw this as a kid, I would have lost my shit. Imagine a Gamera villain saying things like, have a nice trip, and the Pumpkinhead raps. There's even a Frankenstein monster. I so badly want to invent a time machine to go back to my teenage self and scream in my ear, what are you doing? Watch this show. My only complaint is that the monsters don't interact with the buildings very much, but I can understand that it's a TV budget. They do smash the buildings every now and then, especially later in the third season, and whenever that happens, I get excited. I just love seeing practical effects. You can tell when something is actually getting destroyed on camera rather than being animated on a computer. I also have to comment on the Megazord costume. Considering how bulky this thing looks, the actor inside is actually able to get a lot of movement out of it. In every episode, the Power Rangers fight a bunch of people in gray spandex called the Putties, which are made from turds baked in a cookie mold. Then they fight a wisecracking monster who grows into a larger monster, and they call the Zords to form Megazord, and the episode switches drastically into giant Japanese monster battle mode. A giant power sword is summoned, which comes out of thin air into Megazord's hand in a flashy light show. The enemy monster is finished off, falling face first. We jump cut to a burst of sparks.
I always ask, why did they just do that from the beginning?
We usually get a low angle shot looking up at Megazord being victorious, and the whole time that energizing metal theme song is rocking you senseless.
That's right.
It's almost reminiscent of Iron Maiden. One episode is all it takes to get stuck in your head, let alone hundreds. When you hear "Go Go Power Rangers," you're thinking, yeah,
that's right.
Damn straight, go Power Rangers. After watching a ton of these, I started to feel like I was watching the same thing over and over again, and parts of it I actually was. The sequence where the Zords form Megazord is the same recycled footage repeated every episode. After a while, they start abridging the footage so you don't have to see the whole Zord sequence. But if you were a latecomer just tuning in, it wouldn't make any sense at all. Just looks like a bunch of random shit flashing together. This shameless footage recycling surprisingly took a long time to get old for me, only because it's so awesome. The shot where the T-Rex Zord comes out of the volcano is very well executed. The fire and heat distorts the image. It's a great touch. I also like the saber-toothed tiger. It looks like a runaway action figure. It all looks like a toy commercial, not just the fact that the Zords are all miniatures, but the way it's paced. With all the fast editing and in-your-face camera angles, it sort of escalates the style of toy commercials into a pop art. And once the Dragon Zord is introduced, oh my, this thing is really cool. This could have totally fit in with the Godzilla universe. And then there's all these different Zord combinations, like Thunder Megazord. Right? Yeah, just simple Megazord's no longer enough. And then there's Ultra Zord, who has a massive Ultra Boner. At the start of the second season, Lord Zed becomes the main villain. Or something like that? What do you say about this guy? Just look at him. His brain is exposed, he's got no skin, and he's wearing metal underwear. He walks like he took a dump in them. And look, duct tape. There's totally duct tape on his staff. Later on, Rita comes back and the two of them get married. Did not expect that. Lord Zed was not originally part of Sentai. He was created specifically for Power Rangers. As mentioned, the show partly uses recycled
but I think
footage
she
from
puts
Super
him under
Sentai.
a spell, though, Rita does. I don't think Lord Zed really does love her.
Which footage is recycled and which is original. The scenes with the monsters and special effects are usually Super Sentai, and the scenes with the American actors are original footage for Power Rangers. It's a lot like the first Godzilla movie, how they filmed new scenes with Raymond Burr for the American version. They could have just redubbed it, but I guess they wanted to make it more appealing for American audiences. I find it interesting to try and identify the Sentai footage. It would be an extended project, but I would really love to watch through a season of Super Sentai and compare the two shows. I can tell the obvious things. For instance, whenever we see Bronson Cave or Vasquez Rocks, we know it was shot in America. It's interesting to see how American and Japanese scenes cut together. For example, the main cast will be at Bronson Cave, then a fight breaks out, and all of a sudden the background changes to a generic, dry, rocky landscape. It looks similar enough to pass, but we know we just leaped across the Pacific. Rita was originally part of the Sentai footage. They just dubbed her. She never shares any scenes with the American cast, at least not early on. What I find real interesting is the actor who plays Rita gets changed quite a bit, but the voice actor stays the same. You're seeing a different face, but hearing the same voice. I was almost fooled. Is it her? Is it not? It plays with your mind. Also, I could be wrong, but I think they shipped some of the Sentai monster costumes overseas to complete more scenes for Power Rangers, and since the costumes had already been used, they probably had more damage, like they got the sloppy seconds.
Ew.
So, this may be the reason there's some scenes where Goldar's mouth is malfunctioning. It moves by some kind of animatronic or puppeteer work, and in most scenes it works decent, But there's a lot of times in what seems like localized footage where the mouth is stuck open, moving only a little. And this is really funny to see when he's talking in that growly voice.
Oh, you think you're going to save your friend, don't you? You gave up too easily. You're all in trouble now. Fool, you've just given the dragon dagger to me. Oh, no.
Also, Super Sentai had the habit of changing the Ranger suits every season, and each season was given a different title, like Zoo Ranger, Die Ranger.
Right?
And when Power Rangers started, Super Sentai was already on its 16th season or series or whatever you want to call it. It was already a success in Japan. So when Power Rangers came along and was also a success internationally, it seemed they didn't want to risk losing that success, so they didn't change it as much. The point is, a lot of the action footage of the Rangers in the suits was from Sentai. It was the Japanese actors, since you couldn't recognize them in the suits anyway. They just redubbed the voices. But they couldn't do that anymore after the suits changed. Not that they couldn't, but they chose not to. So they continued to use the old suits and had to come up with all these sneaky ways to adapt the footage they had, to reshoot, re-edit footage, and work around whatever curveballs Super Sentai would throw that year. And to this very day, that tradition still continues.
Nice.
I find that very impressive. Still, there's a lot of things that do change. About halfway into the first season, there's the introduction of a Green Ranger who summons the Dragon Zord by playing the flute with a knife. In the second season, he loses his power and he goes away, but he comes back shortly as the White Ranger, who has this hilarious talking sword. The White Ranger suit was in tune with the Sentai Die Ranger suit, so while they didn't upgrade the rest of the Rangers, they at least used one of the same suits, which meant they could use Japanese footage of the White Ranger.
But he's never in.
Also, halfway into Season 2, 3 of the Ranger cast members are changed out because of contractual reasons, but they acknowledge it. Zordon transfers their power.
Wow. And I don't think I got that far. I for sure watched the White Ranger go down. I think maybe when the original Rangers stopped being Rangers, I think I stopped watching it. Maybe I got mad or something. I don't know. The stuff you do as a kid.
Actual reasons, but they acknowledge it. Zordon transfers their power over to the new Rangers, but they go on wearing the same costumes. It's like the band Kiss, switching out members but keeping the same personas. It's a shame. I was just starting to like these characters, and deep into the third season, Kimberly goes too. I can imagine exactly how this must have felt if you watched this as a teenage boy. It would have probably felt like there's this girl in your class who you really like and who you're just starting to know, and she gets transferred to another school. Damn. Over time, Power Rangers started adapting more to Sentai, updating the suits and accepting the change that came with every season. Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Turbo, and so on. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the movie came in between the second and third season. I heard it was non-canon and didn't follow the continuity of the show, so I assumed it didn't matter what order I watched it in. So I decided to watch it while I was still halfway into the first season. When I saw the new Ranger characters, I figured that was just the lack of continuity everyone was talking about. Then I saw the second season and how all these characters were introduced, and now I wish I watched it in order. Whether it's canon or not, it does follow the progression of the show. Anyway, this is one of those certain kind of movie adaptations that could only exist in the 90s. It just has that wacky nature. It kind of reminds me of the Super Mario Brothers movie. It has that same level of quality. It's garbage, but it's delightful. It looks like a more cinematic version of the show, which it should. You can tell everything's been updated to be more like movie quality, but it still has the same cheesiness. The villain, Ivan Ooze, kind of reminds me of Freddy Krueger and the guy from the Nightmare board games. Rita, Lord Zed, and Goldar are all there too, so it's definitely over-cluttered with villains. The biggest takeaway thing I have to say about this film is during the third act, when all the action happens, it goes full CG. No practical effects, no Super Sentai stock footage to work with, obviously. But my God, this might be the worst CG I've ever seen in a mainstream film. It's mid-90s.
Oh my God, it looks terrible.
As great as Jurassic Park, which of course used practical effects in combination with its CG. But this
for its time, that was
looks
amazing.
Horrible. It's worse than PlayStation 1 graphics.
Right?
Even with bad practical effects, there's charm to it. But this has no charm. Or maybe it does.
I don't know about that.
Does it? The second film, Turbo, a Power Rangers
then again,
movie, occurs
I would laugh
between
at it like
the
a
Zeo
cheesy
and
kung
Turbo
fu movie.
series. Yeah, I skipped ahead. just so I can say I've seen all the movies. The first thing I took note of is that the Rangers don't get into the suits until about 30 minutes in. In the show, things are always happening fast, as if they think you have no patience whatsoever, but this movie does the opposite. It's more like anti-turbo. There's a young kid who becomes the new Blue Ranger, but when he morphs into the suit, he grows into adult size. If they were going to use an adult for the action scenes, why'd they cast a kid at all? The main villain is Divatox, and
kids can relate to
there's
it,
no
maybe.
way around it. Her boobs are showing off in every scene. It's a major distraction.
Yeah.
These right here are the real stars of the film. Kimberly and Jason come back, but the whole time they're either captured or turned evil. There's some really weird creature effects. These wizard guys have these big, cute eyes. Oh, look at that. They kind of have
like
this
Ewoks.
innocent expression, but I don't know what to make of it. Like, it's just bizarre. Then there's this villain henchman who always has this freaky grin. Oh, God, it's bumming me out. I think they did a great job creating these faces, but they don't move very much. There's not much of a range of expression, just a weird frozen face. The Megazord fight sequence, or should I say Turbo Megazord, is the highlight because the effects are practical. This rectifies the lousy CG from the first movie, and it's upgraded from the TV
that Trini, she died in real life.
This looks like what I'd expect. This
the Yellow
is
Ranger?
the movie
Remember her, the
version
original
of
Asian
the
girl?
Megazord fight sequence.
She
For
died
this
in like a
reason,
car crash.
I prefer
like
Turbo over the first movie,
7-8 years
but
ago?
neither of them are very good. The new film, Power Rangers, is on the way shortly. I plan on seeing it, and I'm glad I now finally know something about the show. This was one of the reasons I kicked my ass into gear. My general impression from the trailers is that it's trying too much to be like the shitty Transformers movies. I'm so sick of those. But we'll see what happens. I hope it honors the show rather than following with whatever trends are going on nowadays. Yeah. Of course they have to update it. It should be updated. It should look and feel like a big budget colossal revamp of the show.
Pretty badass.
I just hope it keeps the same spirit, and also I hope it has the theme song. Now that I'm familiar with the franchise, what can I say? How do I wrap this up? Well, it's a lot of fun. Is it for kids? Yes. Is it for cult monster fans? Yes. Is it stupid? Yes. Is it awesome? Yes. It's every contradictory thing I ever thought it would be. It made Japanese monsters popular in America, even if we didn't realize it. And for that, I thank Power Rangers from the perspective of a noob, or should I say, a new fan.
There you go. Now he's finally a new fan. That was good, though. I'm glad that I honestly never would have known that he did not watch those. Wow. I mean, at least he came out and said that right away and didn't act like he did, you know? Oh, so I guess the takeaway of all that is I think he did a good job of it. He definitely put his humor into it. If you guys have never seen him before, definitely check out his other footage. Like, especially if you like old school video games, he will play some of the oldest, crappiest, cheap graphic games out there with terrible controls, and he will freak out and call the games out and everything. It's such a hella ride. He's got over 100 and some episodes. But I actually got his original Volume 1 DVD when it released. Okay, good, Alfie. I'm glad you liked it, man. I actually can, I guess if you want, we can do an encore and we can actually watch some of his new. He actually dropped, well, not since Christmas, but honestly, I missed the Christmas episode of it. There's actually 2 episodes I missed. I didn't realize it. I could take a 5-minute really quick and watch it if you want, or I can kill this stream and I can start playing some For Honor, which is a PvP medieval times game. I'm going to go to the bathroom and I'm going to read your comment when I come back to see what you guys want to do. What's up, Chico Butt? So, nobody commented on what to do. Okay, well, I will just... It's a little bit bright there. For honor. Yeah, definitely check it out, Alfie. It is so good. All right. What I'm gonna do then is I'm gonna cut. I gotta cut the stream now. You know the deal. I have to wait about 10-15 minutes to launch For Honor. So while that's happening, go check out some of his work. You know, just type in angry video game nerd. And like I said, I've seen pretty much every episode except the last 3 or 4. And then he hasn't made a single video since last year Christmas. I don't know if he's like retiring the angry, but that's what made him, you know. I don't know. But he does a lot of live, like he did the whole live stream of the new Zelda game or Link, or maybe not the whole game, but he's been live streaming that, you know, and he's like, to me, like I said, I like this guy. This is like he's like the authentic nerd, angry nerd. And when you watch his videos, trust me, and they get good. You know, he obviously starts off like kind of like basic, but then he really gets into it. Like if you want to just right now just jump to one, do the Mario Brothers 3 one, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Or do the bug like angry video game nerd Bugs Bunny or Spider-Man. Like do those and you'll see what I'm talking about. Like it's just I can't explain it, man. Like this is like this legitimately was the first person that actually got me on YouTube, and I just like really he got me into YouTube so many years ago. But anyways, I'm gonna cut this stream. I'll launch it again with some For Honor. Let's see if my skills have gotten any better. I haven't played it in a few days, so now I'm kind of rusty sauce again. And I'm not the greatest at that game, but I want to see if I could actually take my fight online again. So I haven't been online battling since beta. Been waiting on my friends. They all bought the game, and none of them. They're all too pussy to play online. So I'm gonna have to solo it on my own. You know what I'm saying? So I will see you in a little bit, man. Online again. So I haven't been online battle to play online. So I'm gonna have to solo it on my own. You know what I'm saying?